FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
You know what? I don't want to listen to this.
You were disrupting him?
Yes, I was disrupting him.
Normally people come into a forum.
I think they're a bunch of jerks.
We have audio of the union video that I wanted to play for you. Not that one. That's Town Hall. That's that racist Nicole Sandler. How dare she disagree with a black man? Oh, wait. It's not racist if you're Democrat. Okay, right. I got to keep remembering that. It's not racist if you're Democrat. Yeah, I want the labor studies courses. This is, by the way, happening at your universities.
Time. I believe in the violent overthrow of the bourgeoisie, and that freedom is found at the barrel of a gun, like Mao said and Marx said.
True militancy means high levels of participation and willingness to undertake creative and in-your-face tactics, I think. And the American labor movement never would have had the successes it had without that kind of militancy.
Oh, I have some words to say about this, as does my guest, Missouri's Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, who is gracious enough to join us on the phone. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for having me back, Dana.
Of course. This was a part of a teleconferencing course that took place at UMKC and also UMSL here in St. Louis. And yeah. I think the classes are still ongoing. There was there were apparently students in the classroom who felt very uncomfortable with the discussion that these professors were having, and they kind of felt the need to say something about it, and it ended up being published on biggovernment.com, and now it's all over the place. And this is, you have one instructor talking about industrial sabotage and talking about how he followed around business owners in an attempt to, from my perspective, to intimidate them. And this, yes. and sir, we found out these universities, they got $460 million in public funds just last year, and Governor Nixon requested the same amount for 2011. What do you make? What's your response to your reaction to these videos?
Well, Governor Nixon has been hiding on this issue. I know that some folks came down from the St. Louis area yesterday to try to ask him about this. They sat in his office, I'm told, for something like 2 hours, and failing to get an audience with him, asked to talk to the top aide of his, and they wouldn't even speak to them about it. But, you said it's all over the place, and it is. Bill Hennessy's website, I understand, has a fine article up, and biggovernment.com, where you're the editor doing a great job, Dana, has had it up since, I guess, Monday or Tuesday, right?
Yes.
And that's where I've seen the videos, at biggovernment.com. I don't know what Bill Hennessy's website is, but these are outrageous videos that every citizen of Missouri should go and watch them. The mainstream media, the lamestream media, is ignoring this issue. I did see something on Fox and Friends either Monday morning or Tuesday morning on this after you and Andrew Breitbart broke this story and led on it on biggovernment.com, as you're doing on so many stories. But we've had the St. Louis and the statewide media in Missouri asleep on this, by and large, with the exception of your fine efforts.
Well, I appreciate that.
What we have is a member of the Communist Party of the United States invited into the classroom at the University of Missouri St. Louis, and in a video class that's simultaneously conducted at UMKC on the western side of the state, and they're preaching the violent overthrow of the U.S. government. What would be the reaction from the mainstream media, lamestream media, if we had a Tea Party leader out there advocating violence,
right,
and preaching violence to impressionable young minds? They sit around matter-of-factly. You can hear this on the two videos that are up on biggovernment.com. You can see it. Matter-of-factly discussing violent overthrow of the capitalist order, of the existing order, the workers taking to the streets and committing violent acts of industrial sabotage. And the speaker, Don Gilgum, is the business agent for the International Operating Engineers Union that works at Ameren UE. This is a matter of grave seriousness.
Well, and this is, and there are a lot of people that like to say, oh, well, this, it was done in the class. They were just talking about, they were just learning, and it's academic freedom, and it needs to be a safe. That's not what they were doing. You had people who were giving their personal experiences engaging in this stuff. So that excuse to me.
And this character, Don Gilgum, invited in there by apparently the teacher, Judy Ansel.
Yeah, I think so.
At the Institute for Labor Studies. He says on there, approvingly, this is not some quotation out of context. Your listeners can go to the website and see it for themselves and hear it. He says, I believe that power comes out of the barrel of a gun as Mao Zedong taught and as Karl Marx taught. Power comes out of the barrel of a gun. Power doesn't come to the people who make decisions in a self-governing republic with rights derived from our Creator. He is adopting the communist view enunciated by the greatest mass murderer who ever lived on this planet, the Chinese dictator, Mao Zedong. And he says that is the teaching that you young students at the University of Missouri in Kansas City and St. Louis should absorb.
Well, this is the stuff that I've heard discussed on this, and this it wasn't. They weren't just simply throwing it. Like what? The only way that any of this, sir, would be that they could take this out of context is if at the very end of all of this, at the very end of all their statements and their discussion and telling their students that, oh yeah, we left a screwdriver by whatever just to kind of scare people, and we followed them around. We showed up at this baseball game where they were. As if at the very end of it, they said not, and then that was cut off though in the editing.
Yeah, as though it might be some kind of Saturday Night Live skit. Well, we should be so lucky. I wish it were.
Yeah.
That is not our case here, as you know, Dana. Our case here is a matter of seriousness, our taxpayer dollars. It's a farce that this kind of teaching is being conducted under something called the Institute for Labor Studies at our great flagship state research university. It is a disgrace, and it is something that the interim president of the university and all the members of the Board of Curators, as well as the governor and other responsible state officials, should stand up and be heard on. And we need an investigation into how stuff like this goes on, where a mass murderer like Mao Zedong is approvingly quoted saying that power comes out of the barrel of a gun.
Or where we have union leaders talking about how they would intimidate people. And this is
industrial sabotage.
Right. And public funds being used to pay for it.
This is terrorism. Let's call it what it is. Industrial sabotage tactics are a form of terrorism.
It is, absolutely. Well, I appreciate your calling this out and being ahead of the game with instead of Governor Nixon on this, because he apparently didn't. I guess maybe he doesn't have a problem with it. I don't know.
He appoints the members of the board. He is ultimately accountable here, and I'm not going to let this go, Dana. I'm going to be heard from again and again on it.
Well, I appreciate it. Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, we appreciate all you do. Thanks for coming on with me this afternoon.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, take care.